Hello.
What's up?
Welcome.
Welcome back. Did you miss us?
Yeah, we've been gone for a hot minute. Life got busy.
Yeah.
With traveling. We've been traveling, family, all the things.
Yeah, mechanics, cars.
Yeah. It's just that time of year where, like, so much happens all at once. It's like everybody's going back to school. Everything starts breaking down. Like,
hey, what's going on?
I traveled to South Carolina. Me and my boyfriend did a road trip. We came back, and then following week, I traveled again to Ohio for my cousin's bridal shower and spent some time with the family, and now I'm back. And I feel finally like I'm getting back into, like, the swing of things. But also, because it's now everyone's back in school, all of my friends who are teachers or, like, who were off for the summer are now getting back to their jobs. And I got back from vacation, and I had, like, a little mental breakdown just every day. Like, I just think I felt a little depressed. Like, I'm stuck in my house still. Everyone's back, like, being productive. I still don't have a job. I want to be working. I want to be making money. I want to be contributing. And it just feels...
Same. My parents were gone for almost 2 weeks. They were in Europe traveling, so I had the house to myself for a week and a half, which was really nice. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the quiet. It really helped me to, like, focus, and I was like, all right, I need to apply for jobs. I need to try to do something while they're gone productive. Did I organize my closet like I said I would? No. Is everything still everywhere? Yes. But I'm proud of myself for actually, like, my daily goal was at least 5 jobs a day. Go on LinkedIn for, like, an hour, see what's out there, go through my email, see what, like, is there. Out of, like, let's see, five applications a day for 3 weeks? That's like 35, 40, something in there.
Sure.
I've heard back from 2.
Yeah. It's rough out here. When I was with my family, I had told them that, I have a job tracker, and I've applied to almost 400 jobs since getting laid off. And out of that, I've heard back from maybe 2. One of them being a scam. We know that life. Yeah. Like, just, you could tell it's fake, or it's a commission-only position that didn't... I guess I should have, like, really read that I will say is on me, because I didn't fully read the description, but the name of the job didn't have anything to do with sales. Anyway, come to find out, it's, like, basically a pyramid scheme.
Oh, yeah, MLMs.
Yeah, so... I do have a story to tell, though. So I did finally hear back from one company, mm-hmm. and I had a really good feeling about this. I was like, okay, I finally got, like, just an initial phone interview with the, in-house recruiter. I am gonna, the job that I was applying for was a great position. I would be making great money doing it, and it's the experience I needed was relatively met, like, their expectations. Mm-hmm. So I had a good feeling about, like, being a potential candidate. It's also local. It was going to be on site, which kind of just lessens out the other competition. Just being able to, like, go in person. I could see how many people had already applied, and it was, like, under 20. I was like, I have a really good feeling about this. I have my phone interview. I feel like that went really well. And the girl tells me that I should hear back in a few days. Like, regardless, she's going to send all the notes over to their hiring manager in that department. And then if they want to move forward, they'll set up a Zoom interview. And if not, she said, I'll let you know by the end of the week. Well, the end of the week came and went. So I followed up with her early on Monday, and I still have not received any kind of response. Sent a second follow-up, and I think maybe that's just me, where I'm like, I'll be petty, but I will send follow-ups until you tell me no.
Yeah.
Because, quite frankly, like, I mean, I want people to know, like, you're wasting my time here.
Right.
You know? And it's also, like, kind of discouraging to feel like, okay, like, this door of opportunity, like, I see it, and then it just doesn't end up working out. And you don't really know why either.
Right.
Like, it seemed promising, and I'm also, like, you know, she mentioned that they're, you know, trying to hire immediately. I'm like, I can start as soon as you need. Like, everything seemed like I would be a great candidate for what they were looking for, and then to just not hear anything is really, like, discouraging. Especially because the position was so catered to, like, the experience that I had, that, you know, I don't know who they'll end up picking. I don't know if they picked someone or what the deal is, but these are, like, the moments in job hunting where it's hard to not get really down about it yourself and be like, what's wrong with me? Or just be like, nobody's ever gonna choose me. Nobody's ever gonna pick me for a job. Like, it kind of feels that way. And yeah, it's hard. And I'm also just like, don't tell someone you're going to follow up with them no matter what and then not follow through. That kind of feels like a red flag to me. I don't know. That's like the one part where I'm like, you know, I have so much integrity when I am an employee and when I work, that if I tell anybody, you will hear back from me by X day, I will follow through on that every single time.
Right. I have a similar story. So back in the late spring, early summer, I applied for a position it's a really well-known travel company.
Okay.
They have basically reps that out in the field. And so my mom owns a travel agency, and so we knew the rep for this particular company. He had been doing it for a few years, and he got promoted, and so now his position was open. And so my mom's like, I think you'd be really great at it. You should do it. Apply for it. I'm like, okay. I said, but don't tell them I'm applying. Don't do anything. Like, I'm gonna do it all on my own. And she's like, all right, fine. So I apply, and within a few days, I get the email saying we want to do initial phone interview. Then I did the phone interview. Then it was a semi-formal interview with the recruiter. And then I had the interview with the previous rep and his boss, who would also be my boss, for like the formal interview. The interview was an hour. It was a video call.
Yeah.
And the former rep, the one who got promoted, he didn't really do any of the talking. He was just kind of there, like, listening. And his boss, or his manager, was asking me all the questions. And it was really odd, the questions she was asking me.
Okay, that is something I want to talk about, too. Because some of the questions I was asked were, like, just in the initial phone screening was odd, in my personal opinion. But you go first. Let's dive into what questions were asked.
So for this travel company, the recruiter for the phone and like that first like informal interview, those first two interviews, very normal questions like, how long do you work here? What experience do you have? This is what they're looking for. Do you have this? Like, that was all like really textbook interview questions. This manager, when I got to the formal interview, one of her first questions was, like, after she asked me about my experience and what I did in each position, she was like, when you worked your corporate job, did people hate you? Straight up asked me, did people hate you?
What?
And I'm like...
That seems like a profoundly non-professional question to ask.
I was like, I'm sorry, I don't think I quite understand the question. What do you mean, like, did people hate me? And she's like, did you have coworkers at corporate who would, like, get upset with you or, like, just didn't like you? And I said, well, being that it was corporate and we had to remain a level of professionalism, I don't know if people hated me or not. Like, I couldn't tell you that. As if they didn't like me behind their back, I didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. I said, did I upset people? I'm like, I'm sure I upset people at some point. And the same way people upset me. But again, we're working in corporate, so we really can't be too reactive or too emotional because you have to maintain that level of professionalism. So I wouldn't know. And she was like, oh, okay. She's like, I got people here who don't really like me, but that's their problem. And I was like...
Oh, that's a red flag.
I was like, okay.
I would have almost, like, ended the interview right then. I would have said, you know what? The company morale here doesn't seem to fit what I'm looking for, so we could just end this here. I was like, let me just see where this goes, right? Let me entertain it a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So then... Do it for the plot.
I was doing it for the lore.
For the podcast.
Yeah, for the pod, for the lore, for all of it. And, like, my mom and her business partner, the co-owner of their agency, know these people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, and I, like, even, like, the former rep, we saw each other at the Kylie Minogue concert last year. Like...
Do you think maybe this person felt a level of, like, comfortability because you know mutual people that she could...
She might have,
like... let the guard down a little bit.
She might have. But
still, it's a red flag. Like, right, I don't want to work with somebody that's like that, but, yeah.
So, she was like, have you ever had anybody, like, what's a situation where you had somebody yelling at you in your face? And I'm like...
Oh.
I was like, what do you mean by that? Yelling at me in my face. And she's like, well, in this job, you have to go around every once in a while to the different travel agencies, check in with the agents who are making the sales, right? And answer any questions, and a lot of times some of those agents get really upset and like start yelling at you. Like, you have to be able to have like a thick skin to, like, you know, talk them down from it. And I said, I did 10 years of retail pharmacy. I had people yelling at me day in and day out in my face.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am the recipient of over 20 monthly customer service awards from that job. In, like, the last 3 years I was there. I said, so de-escalating a situation or somebody who's a little bit irate, someone's a little emotional, I can handle that. Mm-hmm. I said, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
She's like, well, are you sure? I was like, yes, I am positive. Like, I can handle distressed clients, distressed customers, whoever it may be. I said, I was held up at gunpoint, whatever you got, bring it to me.
Yeah.
Like, I was very confident in that answer.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, you are very good. And just to anyone that's worked a pharmacy, specifically the pharmacy you worked at.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to make that very clear. But, like, anyone working at a pharmacy has experience, anyone working in any healthcare field, even, like, mildly related to healthcare, understands dealing with irate customers.
Yeah. I had people, like, coming from the hospital, they're stressed out,
yeah.
A loved one is sick, or they got really bad news about a terminal illness, they're a ball of stress, and then, like, the last thing they want to do after that long day they had of doctor's appointments or hospital visits is go to a pharmacy and deal with some snotty-nosed technician.
Yeah.
And so, like, I always treated every customer as best as I could. Like, I don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they did that day. I don't know what they did. So I always try to, like, approach it very cautiously.
Yeah.
Like, I had people break down in front of me. My old team.
I believe it.
My old team used to call me, like, the bad news whisperer or something. Because, like, I always got the customers and patients that had bad news.
Yeah.
And, like, I kept a box of tissue underneath my register. Like, I had people... I couldn't tell you, at least once a month, twice a month, people break down at my counter.
But that's the reality
of
the
reality.
Healthcare system we have in this country. And I'm sure if you talk to any other tech, they probably have similar experiences dealing with people who...
I would say the better technicians, because there are some technicians that just did not care, but...
Yeah, who maybe are not...
sympathetic,
sympathetic or in tune. And a lot of the time, I think getting even a little bit of that information out of customers could be as simple as just, how's your day going?
Yeah.
Because I worked retail, and we used to have to talk to, like, every customer at the job I worked at. And I remember getting to a point in life where I said I could talk to a brick wall.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that I would start talking to a customer, and then all of a sudden I would get, like, an entire life story, and then they would stop themselves, like, afterwards go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I think some people just naturally have, like, a very inviting personality where people feel safe. you feel like a safe person to maybe confide in, and you listen.
Mm-hmm.
That used to happen to, like, me a lot in retail, where, like, people would just start, like, dumping on what was going on in their day and their life, and then they'd be like, I just had to get out of the house because I'm getting divorced, or blah, 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 blah. I said, okay. And then they would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, you are just a person working here. I'm like, this is actually the part of my job that makes me feel good.
Yeah. Is
feeling like I'm connecting with people, or, you know, and it's really as simple as retail. And maybe they probably don't remember it, but a lot of, like, I find enjoyment a lot in just connecting with, like, humanity.
Yes.
Like, finding the humanity in, like, people. I think we've lost that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Along the way.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
I know we're straying a little bit, but
yeah.
I went to Taco Bell a couple weeks ago, and the girl who took my order at the speaker, lovely, hi, how are you? Thank you so much. Very polite, great customer service. I get to the window, she takes my credit card, we pay, super sweet, and then she, like, goes off and does something while I'm waiting for my food, and then the kid that comes after her, they're around the same age, it was a guy, just opens a window and just shoves the bag in my face. I'm like, is this for me? Is this my order? And he's just like
Gen Z
if you guys,
stare.
if you can see me right now,
Gen Z stares.
Yeah, Gen Z stare. Ooh. So, like, just Gen Z stare, and I was like, okay, well, thank you so much. You have a good one. And, like, before I could even finish telling this kid, like, have a good day, he's, like, closing the window, like, walked away.
Yeah.
Like, just did not care.
That's awful.
So anyway, so this woman interviewing me was like, all right, how many accounts did you deal with at your old job? I said, what do you mean by account? She's like, well, your old job, you dealt with stores, right? And she's like, compare that to, like, you'd be dealing with your client or your accounts. And I said, I said, well, my previous employer had nearly 9,000 stores across the U.S., continuous 48 U.S. states, Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. And I said, and at any given time, I can do, in 1 week, knock out 250 stores if, you know, we were doing, like, a remodel project, or I was approving signage, or, you know, doing, like, space planning for the pharmacy area. I said I had about 200 a week. Mm-hmm. And I'd break it down to, like, 50 stores a day, or, like, 25 stores a day, just to, like, manage it. And she's like, oh, I'm like, how many accounts or clients would I be in charge of? She's like, oh, around, like, 100. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, that's fine. She's like, and emails? How many emails did you get a day? I'm like, at least 150 emails a day.
Yeah.
Like, and if it wasn't just, like, emails directed to me, it was emails that I was copied on, and I would just constantly get emails all day.
Yeah.
I said, I'm like, a good portion of my day was reading through them to make sure I didn't have to reply to them.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah.
If you work corporate America, you're getting you can handle 150 emails a day.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, well, and then she asked me some other questions too, like, you know, how would I promote the brand? You know, that's what my job is to do. And how would I answer questions, or what would I tell somebody if I didn't have an answer? You know, just really basic, like, handling a situation kind of question. And that was it. That took, like, an hour. She went on a lot about herself too, about, like, you know, she was like, no BS type of person, and she was, you know, worked very hard. She'd been in the company for almost 30 years, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's great. Mm-hmm. Like, interview ends, and I didn't hear anything for 3 weeks.
Wow.
3 weeks. And so I emailed all the different, like, in-house recruiters that I was in contact with up until that point. Like, I just put them all in one email. I'm like, hello, everyone. Don't know who's working on this now, but it's been 3 weeks. I haven't heard anything. I would like to move forward with this opportunity. Please let me know what the next steps are. And then they get back to me with this long paragraph, like, you interviewed so well, you gave the right answers, you have all the experience we want, but unfortunately, we're going to move forward with somebody else. Mind you, this was back the first week of June when I found this out, right?
Yeah.
And this company's website, you can go in, type in your location to see who your representatives are for that market area.
Okay.
And they still have not filled the position. I was just thankful that I got feedback. Like, they said I interviewed really, really well.
Do you feel like it's fake? Like, that's where I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, But I've seen this time and time where some of the jobs that I applied to back in June are still up. The job posting hasn't been removed. And I'm like, I haven't even heard a single thing. And I fit every requirement you've listed.
So a lot of times either they post it because they already have somebody in-house that they want to give the job to, but legally they have to post it to the public so that it's fair.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, so a lot of times job listings, unbeknownst to us, can just be they're posting it because they are legally obligated to. Even if they have somebody in mind, they want to give somebody who's already an employee, they're moving into a new position, they still have to publicly post that job so that it's fair.
I don't like that.
Neither do I. And
I think it would just save everyone time if they just didn't do that.
Right. Or in some states, the law is you have to post it internally.
Oh, like on the career site?
Right, on their internal career site, right.
Okay.
And a lot of times the HR department doesn't take those postings down.
Yeah.
I applied for a job at a home interior furniture / decor store, kitchenware store based out of Chicago. I didn't even remember. I applied for it in 2024. December of 24. Oh I was still working. And I got an email 2 weeks ago saying, thanks, but we've chosen somebody else for this. A year and a half later.
That's insane.
Year and a half later. And when I got the email, I'm like, what is this for? I haven't applied there because they haven't had any positions open. Yeah. And I see the application date, December of 2024.
That's crazy.
There was another travel company. Well, I wouldn't say they're travel. They're more just resorts, adult-only resorts. They have family resorts too, but their main focus is adult.
Yeah.
I also knew the rep. He left. He moved out west to go pursue a career in music. Good for you. Go do your thing. And my mom was like, hey, email, this is... I went to their website, and their website only has postings to work at their resorts. And it wasn't so much the corporate side. So I went to their website, found the person in contact's email, and I said that my name's Dominic Cavazos, this is my experience, here's my resume, I heard that the position was open, please let me know either way if you're looking. Radio silence. I waited another week, I resent it. I did it for once a week for a whole month. And nothing. This rep never got back to me. And my mom and her business partner we know her, do you want us to say something? I said, no, I want to do this all on my own. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, that company, the resort company, got a new rep. They hired 24 years old. Mm-hmm. Associate's degree, not just a generic, a college GED. Let me just call it that. Okay, yeah, just like gen eds. And then no previous experience working in the travel industry. All because his dad works for the company. Mm-hmm. Nepo. It's
all nepotism. And that kind of goes into, what I wanted to talk about with, when people are... I've seen a lot of discourse of, it's all about who you know. It's all about who you know. And, make sure to network. Make sure to network. And this is where I get really frustrated. Because for someone like myself, I only have one parent that graduated college. And the one that did is a nurse. They work in healthcare. They've worked in healthcare. They've worked as a nurse their entire career. I have no interest in nursing at all. That is not a job that I can do. And I'm going to tell you that my parents would say the same thing. I don't have the personality that is sufficient for being a nurse. I can't deal with blood. I can't deal with vomit. I can't, no. I have... Some people want to do that, and that's great. I can't.
I've been told I'd make a great pharmacist. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I would be a fantastic pharmacist, but I have zero interest in studying medicine. Yeah. I don't want... No. I'm like, I can't... No. I've been told by people in the airline community, in the aviation, you'd be a great flight attendant. I'm like, I don't want to be a sky nurse. No. I can't do it.
And my mom is the one who's a nurse, and, just the stories I hear from her sometimes, I'm just like, I just know it's not a job I can do. I think seeing, like, horrible injuries and different things, like, she's kind of, like, numb to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Like, I can't deal with other people's blood. I don't like getting my own blood drawn. I don't like looking at my own blood. Like, I am very sensitive to bodily fluids, and especially when it's someone else. And yeah, I just don't have it in me also to, like, the culture of healthcare is also very much kind of like a factory where it's like patient to patient to patient, take vitals, okay, move on. Like, I don't think I could do that. I think I just, not to be like, oh, I care too much, but, like, I do. It's one of those jobs where, like, if I knew someone was in, like, critical condition, I couldn't just, like, go home and act like that didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, if I were to become a nurse or, like, something in the medical field, I know I would be decent at it, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But to your point, like, it would just be very emotionally taxing, because I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, yeah, you're going through a rough time, sorry about that, but anyway, and, like, move on with my day. Like, I'm very much, like, empathetic and, like, take on whatever either the patient's feeling or whatever the patient's family would be feeling, and, like, it would stick with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I just don't have...
I would like to work, like, a front desk or, like, secretary position for, like, a hospital or a doctor's office, but those jobs also pay, like, minimum wage.
Yeah.
And so, like, I need, like, an actual career, you know? And that's where I'm like, I don't know. But with the whole networking thing, you know, it's like, what I want to do with my career is so different than anything that my parents and a lot of the people in their inner circle have experience with. Mm-hmm. So that kind of cuts that out. My entire career, I've worked remote.
Oh, so good.
Like, nice. I will say I will take remote over in person any day. I think I worked in office for, like, 2 months, and it was one of those months was during December, so, like, nobody was in office anyway. But I work remote, like, pretty much all of my career. So have I been able to make a few connections that way? Yes. But also, these aren't people that I've, like, physically met. And most of the time I was working on a small team where I'm really only communicating with 5 people a day, if that. And the sort of position I was in didn't really allow room to communicate or, like, really get to know in depth other people where, like, you're forming those connections. So if I'm not working directly with them, they don't really know me. Right. And, you know, I might be a name that pops up on the Teams meeting, but that's about it. Like, I'm there to listen. Maybe we're doing training together. That's about it. So I feel really stuck there. And these people don't live near me either. Everybody works all over the United States. A handful of the people that I was fortunate to know and grew, like, a relationship with virtually live states away, and most of those people ended up leaving and finding jobs that were more like hybrid or closer to them. So that kind of rules that out. I can't work a job in, you know, like, Pennsylvania. Right. You know, I can't can't work an on-site job in Pennsylvania. I don't live there.
I have tea about that.
And I just, you know, it's really hard to, you know, can you network in other ways? Yes. And I'm doing the best that I can. But this whole idea of, like, oh, it's all just networking.
I'm not sure where we left off, but...
We realized that this cut out, but we could just go on and move on to our next topic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, we'll just move on to the next topic. We can talk about... The other thing I wanted to talk about was pivoting careers.
Okay.
Because I know a handful of people right now who are in that boat where, like, the world is changing, things are moving in a different direction. I think also as you get older, just the priorities you have for yourself and what's important changes.
Yeah.
But, like, breaking into a completely new career without, like, really those connections is also equally as hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't want to have to go back to school a second time. And, you know, when I was down in South Carolina, we stopped at this, like, petting zoo just for fun. But, you know, I love animals, and I always talk about how, like, you know, my dream would just be to, like, open, like, animal sanctuary with, like, just a bunch of different, like, you know, cows, pigs, goats, like, all the animals.
Old MacDana had a farm.
Oh, yeah. And just, like, you know, live my best life. I'll take care of the animals for fun.
Right.
But that's the type of job where, like, you also need something to pay the bills. And I know a handful of people who have these, like, passions for things that they would love to do, but the career itself just doesn't seem there.
Right. That's how I feel with, like, social media. I want to do social media so bad. And, like, every time I think I'm going to, like, all right, I'm going to do it, I panic and I don't want to do it.
No, I think you just have to dive into social media.
Yeah.
That's, like, one thing I've learned is I was the same way. And I've recently started posting on social media, like, specifically TikTok. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I feel like I'm at a weird age where, like, I'm, like, too old. Like, I feel sometimes like I'm too old for TikTok.
I don't think so. Because there's people who are, like...
There's people who are older.
Yeah, on TikTok, yeah.
But TikTok itself feels younger than, like, me, I guess. I guess the way that I'm trying to say it is, like, I'm not really, like, going into TikTok content being like, I'm so innovative. Like, it's a lot of, like, I'm trying to like, look at, like, what are younger people into and try to, like, mold that to, like, where I'm at. And keep it just authentic to myself. That's, like, a huge thing for me. Yeah. Is, like, I need it to just feel authentic to me. I don't care if what I'm posting is, like, silly or goofy. I want it to reflect just, like, me and myself.
Right.
And
what I've learned from TikTok and, like, the demographic, there's, like, older people on it, like, not our parents' age, like, younger than our parents but older than us.
Yeah.
And they're into some weird shit. Like, they'll sit there and watch people, like, I don't know, going out in public. Okay. Let me try to articulate my thoughts here. When my parents show me TikTok-style videos, I'm like, how does this in your feed? What is going on with your algorithm? What are you watching? Because a lot of it's like...
I understand.
Like, there's a lot of, like, AI-generated, like, did you know if you soak chia seeds...
It's so much AI.
Oh, my God. And I, like, tell my parents, I'm like, that is AI. And they're like, so what? It has information. I'm like, yeah, but they're wasting...
They like it.
Yeah. They're like, it has information. I'm like, it's clear, it's concise, you know, you don't have some annoying influencer. I'm like, I get it, but, like, unless AI is being used to, like, solve actual problems, we don't use it.
My dad sends me AI videos of, like, animals just, like, being, like, silly and goofy. And I'm like, Dad, at first I thought he thought that they were real. He did not. Luckily he knew they were fake and that they were AI. Uh-huh. But he genuinely just enjoys them so much that, like, his entire feed is just, like, AI dogs and animals, like, walking on hind legs or, like, talking like a human and, like, saying goofy stuff. And I'm like, oh my God.
Have you seen the one I get a lot with? I don't get a lot of animal content in my feed. Sometimes with, like, cats being scared, like, that's, like, if it's a real cat being scared, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Don't scare your cats on purpose, though, guys.
No, please don't. That's
please don't. That's very mean. I see this one about, like, this dog floaty. Like, it's a floaty, like, for pool use for your dog, and, like, it goes under their belly, and, like, there's, like, neck support, so they can just, like, have their neck supported, their head supported in the water. They could just float and do whatever. And it looks very convincing at first, but then there's, like, a shot of a pit bull, like, smiling unnaturally, like, ear to ear. I'm like, oh, this is AI.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you had me for like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this unnatural smile on this dog, and people are like, it's a real product, it does exist, but they're using AI to make it seem like every dog that uses it is going to love it.
Yeah, I really don't like AI advertisements. I just don't like AI in general. I think
those online casinos are the worst at using AI. Have you seen those?
No, but I don't want to deal with anything online gambling. I think that's a whole other beast that I'm not ready to talk about. But like, I'm over AI. I don't think we need it. I don't think it needed to exist in the first place.
Well,
our brains are so capable of making great things.
That's the thing. AI has existed for many years.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're making those AI tools available to the public.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Like, before, it was just like computer programmers, software engineers were using it to help build code, to help, generate things. And I get it. That's fine. Do it. You leave it there. But now you're giving people access. And what AI is doing, as we all know, this argument is like, it's going and searching the internet for other people's work so it has something to reference. And then you ask it, oh, I want a 1940s like pinup model style poster advertisement. And it uses other people's work that already exists to draw as inspiration to create what you're asking it to create. So, like, you're stealing somebody else's work, essentially. But, AI, I had coworkers who would use AI, or specifically ChatGPT, to write their, like, self-review, like, every year. And I'm like, for what? I'm like, you can't write about yourself and what you did?
That's what I'm saying. And the last company that I worked for, they had bought into using AI because they're publicly traded company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they bought into this AI to like boost their stock value, to be like, oh look, we're like so high tech, And that's why they started it was basically a thing where they told us, like, your usage of this AI tool is being tracked, and if you're not using it, then, like...
Oh, no.
You're basically gonna get the boot. And so they told us that, like, we should be using it with every single thing that we do. If you're sending an email, you should make sure that the AI bot is reading the email and... use it to, like, make it sound better, use it to cater it, and, they wanted us to use it for everything. I ended up using, I will admit, I had a hard time genuinely using it on a day-to-day basis because I just didn't feel like I needed it. Mm-hmm. My communication, a lot of it was just internal. I'm not using AI to talk to my manager and be like, hey, could we work through this restructure together, like, hey, can you review these financials with me? Like, I need a second set of eyes. That's where, like, AI just sucks. And also, for the job that I was doing, like, we had email templates that we were given during our training, and I just used those, and I would tweak them. For the most part, on, like, mass communication, I used AI for my quarterly review and my manager praised me for doing that.
Insane.
And that's where I'm just like, did it feel good? No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Because I know that my brain power is smarter than that. But what are you to do when you're being forced to use it?
So the only time I used AI when I was at my last job was there's a store in the Chicagoland area that uses like alternate sources of energy, a lot of solar power, or a lot of like steam, and I don't know. The technology that store used to like convert all that solar energy and other energy into like usable electricity changed. They updated it, and so they need a new signage so that when customers are there, they can read it. And so I used it at the behest of my former boss, and she was just like, yeah, you can go ahead and use it. This way you don't have to deal with the marketing department. And I was like, oh, I'm like, because I have the text, I have all the copy, the copywriters from marketing did it. I just didn't have any graphics. And my job was not a graphic designer. That was not my role at that job. It was to a point. When it came to signage, yes. But my previous boss was like, if you need signage made, you need to reach out to the marketing department, give them a description. He's like, you have art direction experience, so it'll be easy for you. Tell them exactly what you want, and they send you proofs, and then you approve it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, perfect. Like, that's what I always did in the past. I needed custom signage. I would work with our graphic designers to get, the whole review process, if you're familiar with it. And yeah, would I say it was my work? Absolutely. Because even though somebody else was executing it, they did it under my direction.
Yeah.
Right. So she's like, we don't have time for you to go do that whole process. She's like, I actually think that process is too lengthy. I'm like, don't get me started on that. I was yelled at for using the marketing department and going back and forth with them. God. Yeah, I know.
I love when one manager tells you to do one thing and then the other manager is like, why are you doing that? You should be doing it this way. And it's like, okay, could somebody just give me a consensus on what it is I'm supposed to do? What is the actual protocol?
Well, my first boss wanted me to do it because he's just like, if something, goes wrong, you can kind of say, well, this is what the marketing department gave me. You can kind of push it back on them, which is like kind of shitty if you think about it. And my last boss, she was just like, I just think that we spend a lot of time going back and forth, approving things and asking for revisions, and like, why can't you just be one and done? And I want to rip my hair out. I'm like, that's not how this process works. That's how none of this works. And that was proof to me that she never really worked on a creative team where you have to collaborate and there's going to be proofs and revisions and corrections until you get to there's going to be so many different versions until you get to the final product.
Yeah.
And in her mind, more than 2 revisions was too much. You're not working effectively to get this project done. You should know going in, have a strong idea, and then that's it. Be done with it.
I would love to see her get something executed within 2 revisions. But we can't talk about that, because that didn't exist. Right. Oh, well, I have a story for that. So anyway, I used the Adobe's generative AI to make some backgrounds for these signs. It was windmills and grass and things like that. Things to convey energy efficiency. And then the rest of it, all the body copy, all the other text layout, that was all me. That I did. I just needed something in the background for these signs. I had a store somewhere in Florida, because it would be Florida, that had their primary care side closed down. And when they took down all the signage, there's all these holes left in the wall. Okay.
And so I needed to come up with something to either fill in those holes, do something cost effective, and that was going to be done relatively quickly. So I was like, easiest way without patching holes, we can fill them in, but instead of doing a whole paint job, fill them in, and then get a vinyl stick up sign.
Yeah.
And then call it a day. And so she was like, all right, create the signage. I'm like, okay, cool. I can do that in my sleep. I had all the tools, everything from our graphic design department. They create all the vectors and all the different elements. And then it's my job to put them together.
Yeah.
So I put it together. I gave her 5 versions of this sign that I thought would look good. She's like, oh, well, could you put it in a 3D model? I'm like, I don't have access to 3D software. I have pictures of the store. Yeah. I have screenshots of the store. And I have photoshopped the sign into those images that I have to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I would just I'm a visual person. I would see it better if you took one of our stores that we have a 3D model built and put it in there. I spent an hour trying to get a flat sign into a 3D software program, which at that point I didn't have any knowledge of how to do it. I mean, I do now.
Yeah.
But so I did it, and she's like, it's just not working for me. What if we order a sample of it and put it up in the store? I'm like, a sample's gonna cost $300.
Yeah.
I said our budget for this is $500. I have $500 to produce a sign, have it installed, and the installation has to be less than $500 too. So combined total, we're looking around $600, $700 to get this done. That's the budget I was given.
Yeah.
And she was just like, can I see another version of the sign? What if you did this to the sign? What if you did that? I made 8 revisions of the sign. in 2 weeks. And each time I was like, here's the revision. Silence from my manager.
I love when that happens.
And she went to her boss, our director, to say that I was taking too long for this simple stick-up vinyl sign. And I went to her boss was like, hey, what's going on with this? Why is it taking so long? I'm like, she keeps asking me for revisions. She's like, what? And I'm like, here, I'm going to forward you all of our communication over the last 2 weeks, and you can see that she's asked for a revision every time. And she's like, oh, yeah, 'cause she's saying that this is taking too long. I'm like, not because of me.
Yeah, no.
You're
executing.
I'm executing. I'm like, you can see in the emails that I am making these revisions within an hour of her asking me to make the revision.
Yeah.
And after all that, for a sign, like an 8x8 stick-up sign, she ended up taking the very first one I made. The very first one.
That's like my former manager. I would go to her with questions. She would literally not respond. No response. Just, I like straight up just wouldn't get any kind of response. I would then like follow up with her on Teams, or I would follow up by sending her another email. And most of the time I had to do both. And then finally, when I would get a hold of her, which usually would be when she would be asking me for constant updates on what I was doing, then I would say, hey, can you respond to the email that I sent you yesterday? And she would say, oh, go ask your other teammates. She used to refer me to this one teammate, and I'm like, I don't want to ask a teammate. You're the manager.
Right.
I want to know what you are directing me to do here.
Right. That's the same thing with my last manager. I'm like, hey.
That would drive, and it drove me insane.
One time, my old manager yelled at me during our one-on-one meeting. Thankfully, I requested a witness, because like half the stuff, like when I would tell like people like, hey, I'm having this issue with her, they're like, oh, she's not like that. I'm like, they wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need somebody in these meetings, because she's lying. She's making me look bad. She's going to HR. She's going to her boss.
Yeah.
Trying to do all this stuff. And then when I said, hey, like, I want these meetings to be recorded, like for my sake. And she's like, no. I'm like, well, it's recording now. I said, I let you know that. I'm like, as soon I'm like, you enter this call, let's let you know I'm recording right now. Like, I never let her know right away. She's like, why are you recording this? And I said, because there's been multiple instances where you and I agree on something, and 2 days later, you're saying that never happened. Mm-hmm. I said, and I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I told her straight, I'm like, I don't trust you. And she's like, well, I don't want these meeting recorded. I'm like, well, we could just do audio. It doesn't have to be video recording.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't feel comfortable with that. And I said, okay, then we're not moving forward with this meeting. She's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I am well within my employee rights to say no.
Yeah.
To this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you're not being productive. I'm here for this purpose. If you are not comfortable, I'm ending the call, not moving forward. And she's like, well, the state of Illinois, it's not policy. She's like, that's not our company policy. And I said, our company does not have a policy on that. I said, I looked into it and I checked with HR beforehand. As long as I have your as long as I have your permission to record, we can record. I said, if you do not want to record, I can request from HR to have a third-party witness to these meetings.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We had a third party come in, and I'm glad that this person was there, because he finally was just like, this girl's crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, she's insane. Literally insane. She once yelled at me for doing, you know how like in Teams or Outlook, you can send emails?
Yes.
So like if it was at the end of the day, like wrapping up, final emails for the end of the day before I log out, I would send them to send the next morning at like 7 a.m. Because this way, in my head, my theory is like, that email is going to be the top of their inbox. Mm-hmm. As soon as they log in, mine's going to be right there, first thing for them to do that day.
Yeah.
If I send it now at 4:30, anything that comes in after that, it's going to be at the bottom. Mm-hmm. They're not going to see it right away.
Yeah.
And she was just like, why are you schedule sending emails? And I explained to her why I did it. She's like, you can't do that.
Why not?
And I said, excuse me, I can't do that? I said, didn't you just 2 weeks ago say that any emails you did not get through Monday through Thursday, that on Friday you take the last hour of your day to go through all the emails you missed Monday through Friday, and then you schedule send them to be sent out on Monday morning. I said, at least I'm getting back to my emails within 24 hours. I said, you wait a week.
Which is insane to me. I've never worked a job where, like, 48 hours at the max, 24 hours was, like, the expectation.
Right.
Yeah. 48 hours was, like circumstantial case, like, if it had to be escalated and needed time to respond until I had, like, additional information
but
or whatever.
If it was going to take more than 2 business days, you would tell that person, like, hey, this is going to take me a while to work on.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to try to shoot for this date.
Yes.
If not, I will let you know if I need more time.
Yes, exactly.
So, like, in those cases, I would let the person know.
Yeah.
But, like you said, 48 hours is, like, more than enough time to reply.
Mm-hmm. 24 hours for me. Like, I'm like, if we're working in a professional environment, I expect a response within 24 hours. And I don't care if that response is even like, hey, I'm still waiting to hear back. Once I hear back, I'll let you know as soon as possible. That's still a response. I would consider that
She put in my review. Mind you, when she did my annual review, she'd only been my boss for 3 weeks at that point. How is this person? Yeah. How is that okay for her? Like, it shouldn't even been like considered.
Yeah,
like,
no.
She's been my boss for 3 weeks. Like, it should be roll around to the next annual review until, like,
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, they were like, no, I think they did it on purpose. I honestly think they. Anyway.
I hate that.
Yeah. So she was like, you need to be replied within an hour. I'm like, within an hour?
That's insane.
And even the witness to our meetings was like, an hour is a little cray.
Yeah.
A little crazy. He's like, because you could be in a meeting not looking at your emails.
Yeah.
And that hour flies by, and you expect him to reply within an hour, and he's like, you don't reply to him until the end of the week. Like, he told her straight up.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you for being here. For, like, have 2 people telling this person, you're insane.
Yeah. Also, she's your manager, so I'm sure there's been positions where, like, that you've been put in where maybe you can't provide a response to another party until you hear back from your manager.
Oh, all the time. And I would copy her, and I'd be like, I am still waiting on a response from so-and-so, who is my manager. And, like, anytime she would go to her boss, our director, to complain about me, she says that you're not reaching out to these people. I would just forward her the entire email chain. I'm like, she's been copied, she's been tagged, she's been sent messages on Teams.
This sounds like my former manager.
I said she expects me and the rest of our team to reply to her instantly. Yeah. I said, but to get an answer out of her, days.
That's how my former manager was too. And a lot of the time she'd be asking us questions that if she had just read her emails, she would have the answer to. Mm-hmm. Like, there were so many times where I could tell that she wasn't just using her resources, because I'm like, well, if you had just done your part, you wouldn't even have to be taking time out of my day to answer your question. That drives me insane when managers do that. I'm like, let me do my job. Which goes into one of my most hated questions in job interviews is, what's your ideal type of manager? Because who's going to say anything other than, like, a manager that's basically like a mentor, who's there to, like, collaborate, but also trusts you to, like, get your job done.
I always said a manager, like, my response to that is, like, a manager who trusts their team. Yeah. And a manager who is willing to help their team where needed. I said a manager is supposed to know the job of every person on that team and be able to do their job. Yes. I said if that person's on PTO, that person's sick, they have an emergency, the manager should be able to step in and take that person's place. Yes. I said, that's my thing. I'm like, the manager is there to serve their team. Yes. The manager is not there to serve themselves.
No. But that question just really drives me insane. I'm like, who doesn't, like, what other answer are you getting? Right. From someone? Like, I think every single person would respond that way. That's like asking, sometimes I just feel like some of the questions that people ask in interviews are like, what color is the sky? And it's like, blue.
Well, right now it's blue.
Blue? Like, what do you... what kind of question is that?
Golden hour is kind of purple.
Like, I had, in this, like, past, like, phone interview, the, like, last question they asked me was, what am I passionate about? And keep in mind, this is for, like, finance position, like a quality, compliance, financial position. And I'm like, what kind of fucking question is that? Like, what are you passionate about? And, like, I hate that question because I'm like, nobody that's applying for this job is, like, passionate about, like, government regulatory affairs. Like, nobody is, like federal compliance. Like, nobody is saying that. But I'm like, are they trying to, like, get an insight into, like, who I am as a person? Like, I usually just say, I'm, like, really passionate about public service and, you know,
I want to
that type of thing.
Speaking of
one time my sister was asked in an sorry, this is just a fun little tidbit. One time my sister was asked in an interview, if you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
If you guys can see my face right now.
For a salaried, you know, level position.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. That's more of like, I think it's more like a personality assessment question.
I think so too, but I hate that.
I remember being in high school. If you're in the Chicagoland area, you know it as Carson Peary Scott, the department store. I know they had a bunch of different names throughout the U.S., like the Bon-Ton, Yonkers.
Wait, I used to work there.
You used to work at Carson's?
Yeah.
So then you know that, like, when I applied there for a seasonal position, they had me take, like, this 45-minute, like, computer assessment on, like, personality.
Wait, really?
Yes, and then, like, they timed you, like, pretend you're working a register and everybody's paying cash. And, like, I had to do, like, the calculations.
Wait, is this during the training? For the job?
This was for the application.
I didn't have to do any of that.
Yes.
What year?
This had to be, like, 2010, 2011. Okay. I was in high school.
I worked there in 2016.
Okay, yeah, this was...
2017?
I wanted a job during...
2016.
I wanted a seasonal job because we weren't going anywhere that Christmas break, so I just wanted to work, like, after school for a couple hours, work on the register, returns, do whatever, and then just be there until, like, the end of January and be done with it.
Yeah.
And literally was like, you have a customer who's really irate. They may have a mental disability. How do you handle the situation? I'm like, this is for a seasonal job.
I will say, working there, I had the most insane experiences with clients. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but so I worked there when I was 19. I worked there just for the summer. And one day, this lady walks by, and she walks up to me, and she goes, I need to speak to a manager right now.
Okay.
And I go, it's like, I was like, what, is there an issue? Like, can I have some more details about the situation? She goes, nope, I just want to talk to a manager right now. Normally, if we had to call a manager, they wanted to know what the issue was first before they would come over. So I call the manager, and the manager's like, what's the deal? And I'm like, this lady said, I was like, she won't give me details. She said she just wants to talk to a manager. The customer in the background while I'm on the phone with the manager is going, I need to speak to a manager now. And I'm like, they tell me, my manager tells me, ask her why. So I'm on the phone, I have the client in front of me, and I'm like, can you please provide, some type of explanation? We might be able to, some context. We just want to work through this, as quick as possible. She's like, I'm not going to give any more details until I have a manager present. So the manager is like, oh my God, dear Lord. So the manager walks over and comes up and says, hi, I heard that there was an issue. What can I help you with? And this woman looks at the manager and points at me and says, I'm just letting you know that it is absolutely disgusting that you guys are violating, like, children's, like, the children workers' rights or whatever like that. They're like, I can't believe, she's like, I'm going to be reporting you to the state because you clearly have an underage teenager. Like, you have an underage person working here. And pointing at me.
For those of you who listen, Dana's very petite and can be mistaken for a Victorian child.
And I was 19.
Yeah.
But, like, my jaw dropped. Like, me and my manager both were just like, what? So I look at the lady and I go, oh, no, ma'am, like, I'm 19. And she's like, no. She's like, I know that you're lying. She's like, you guys are lying. You're violating rights. Like, you're violating codes. Like, yeah, or whatever words she was throwing around. And she was, like, yelling in the store. She was, like, demanding that we call security. She was very, she made it very clear she was not mad at me. She was mad at the establishment for allowing me to work there underage.
Oh.
And I said, and me and my manager both were like, she's not underage. She's fully within the state rights to work here.
And I think in the state of Illinois at 14, as long as you have
I think it was 15.
14 or 15, yeah. As long as you have written permission, your parents sign off on it, but you can only work a certain amount of hours. Yeah, it's very strict.
And so I said, I literally said, I mean, at this point, this lady's not leaving. She's also threatening to now call the police. She's like, I will be calling the authorities. Well, we're trying to, like, de-escalate this situation,
right.
You know? And she's also, like, just drawing more and more attention to our area, and she's like, you know, whatever. So I have my bag underneath, like, you know, my workspace, and I literally was just like, ma'am, like, while this is happening, I just keep telling her, I'm like...
Did you have the clear bag?
Yes.
Okay.
And I literally was just like, I'm 19, I promise, like... I was like trying to do everything to convince her. I was like, you know, I'm like on summer break from college. Like, I know that I look really young, but like, I promise I'm 19. I was born in 1997. Like, you can do the math. And I literally just go, do you want to see my ID? So I pull out my bag and I start to like grab my ID, and she's like, I don't need to see that. And then walked away. And I think that was the most wildest experience I've ever had in retail. Just a customer walking up to you, just going, I need to speak to a manager now. And just irate that they're convinced you are underage working at a retail store. And just not believing that you're 19. And then I had another lady who, she got so angry at me. Keep in mind, I worked there over the summer. I always thought the store was freezing. I was like, the store is freezing. The AC was always like blasting. I always had to wear a cardigan. This woman, you know, in her probably 50s, 60s, walks up. She's visibly sweating, okay? And she's like, can you please like turn the AC like higher or something? Like, she's like, she's like, it is so hot in here. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I don't have any control over the climate temperature in the store. You know, we, like, us, you know, I can't control that. That's done by, like...
The associates.
Yeah. And she's like, well, then can you call a manager? So I literally had to call a manager to say... Are you guys able to turn it down? And then my manager just goes, no. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, they can't. And so she literally was just started yelling.
I want a lot of people to know, in retail situations, a lot of the times, the climate in the store, it is controlled by corporate.
Yeah.
I know where I used to work, when I worked in the pharmacy, there was like a website that we used to be able to click on, like an internal website to adjust it, at least in the pharmacy. And like they got rid of that link, but some of the old school pharmacists had it like saved to their like desktop.
Yeah.
So like we would just copy and paste it and then like use it to like adjust the AC within the pharmacy. And then they're like, oh shoot, like corporate caught on. They're finding ways, like they're sharing this link like from store to store to control their thing, and then they got rid of it completely.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so but like the only other job that I had where people would complain that it was too cold is when I worked at Chipotle. I don't care. Chipotle, y'all can... Anyway, it is not a great workplace, and I will say it loud and proud. Did you hear...
I worked at Hooters, and it was also freezing. That's actually one of the reasons that I didn't want to stay there much longer, was because...
I mean, Hooters.
I loved working there.
Something had to be on.
What?
When you're cold, a certain part of your body is more prominent.
Oh, you mean like my nipples?
Right.
Well, I had to wear a bra
Okay.
the entire time. Yeah, like if you had to wear like a padded bra.
Oh, okay.
That was actually like part of the dress code.
Oh, gotcha.
Because they didn't want like anything to be see-through.
Gotcha.
You would get in trouble for that. But no, it was just always so freezing in that restaurant, and like I was a hostess, so I had to stand by the door, and me and like all the other girls would be like, "Can you please make it warmer in here?"
Well, because
like
the kitchen, it's hot.
The kitchen was hot.
Yeah.
But like we're wearing little teeny shorts and little teeny tops. That's it, and like tights, like very sheer tights. And it's Chicago. It's winter. You're making us stand in front of the door that's like constantly opening and closing.
Yeah.
Like it was freezing. And I'm like, could we get like a heat lamp or something over here? Like it is unbearably cold. Nope, they just let us freeze.
I know when I worked in the pharmacy, the drive-thru, we would have like a little heat fan, like a little tiny desk one, just because we were constantly opening and closing that drawer from the window. And in Chicago, it would get cold, and we will get calls from up front like, hey, district manager's here, store walk real quick. So we had to hide all of our like little like box heaters, and like even like in the summer, like a fan, because like you can't have that out. Which
is so insane. Because a lot of times the people in corporate who make those decisions don't work in those climates.
Right. Oh, I have a story for you.
Like they're not practical because they don't work in those climates. Like, I don't know. That would really bother me sometimes. I'm like, people should feel comfortable at the job that they're working at, you know? There
was this woman who I did not care for. She worked in the store planning side of my old company. And I worked with her a lot because store design, space planning, floor planning, it all like meshed together. She worked in the stores for maybe a year back when she was in college before she got her degree in, it wasn't even in space planning. I don't even know what she has a degree in. Couldn't tell you. I blocked her on LinkedIn because I hate her. I blocked a lot of people on LinkedIn that I used to work with.
That's so funny, like blocking someone on LinkedIn.
I don't watch.
But I get that. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, I can't stand all the like LinkedIn posts just about like. Does it, like, I hate to say, but do you ever, like, go on LinkedIn and you're just like, God, everybody posting on here is just, like, grifting?
Oh, yeah, I actually have that written down on my list of topics. LinkedIn influencers.
Yeah, but, like, can we not? Like, we don't need that.
It's, like, it's ridiculous. And, like, part of it is, like, there's people that, like, they have, like, full-on arguments in the comments on some of these posts. Like, it's insane. But back to, like, the environment, like corporate people don't work in the environments that like the retail employees do. And this woman was like, oh, I used to work in the store. I'm like, you worked in the store for less than a year back in like 1998. I'm like, I'm coming fresh from the stores. I know what's actually going on in there. We were redoing the employee break rooms. And I don't know who decided to go shopping for the refrigerators for these break rooms.
Oh, God.
Well, they picked the worst refrigerator. I'm like, are we sure? I'm like, I have a Consumer Report subscription. This refrigerator has really poor reliability. I said most customers who bought this particular brand of fridge, I said we're replacing it within 3 to 5 years. I said, do we want to be replacing a refrigerator that quickly? Like, is that in our budget? I said, because then there's no safe place for employees to store their lunch. And she's like, oh, well, if the refrigerator breaks down, they can just go buy lunch. And I'm like, that is not...
Oh, my God.
I said, these people are making a minimum wage. In some states, like we talked about earlier, it's like $6, $7. Yeah. I said, some of those people can't afford to go buy lunch, and they can't afford to have their lunch spoil. Well, I guess they could just bring ice packs and hope that it lasts until their lunch break. And I'm like... sitting there on my computer wanting to freak out, like, to go off on this person. And then the one director was just like, no, he brings up a good point. And he's like, can you look it up, like, real quick, and who has a better, you know, in this price range? I'm like, this other model has great reliability. And then it was like, I'm like, and he's like, all right. He's like, is there anything going to affect the price? I'm like, whether or not it has an ice maker. And I said, most break rooms, the refrigerators are right next to the sink. A line for the water can be installed in minutes.
Yeah.
And some of them do have the water lines already. And she's just like, oh, it's like a $50 option per refrigerator. Like,
it's worth it.
I'm like, I think it's worth it as a former store employee. You know, that's just showing that corporate cares enough to give them an ice maker. So especially in those summer months, those pharmacies can get hot. People want their ice. And she's like, no, they can just go buy a bag of ice. We sell it in the store.
Just buy a bag of ice?
We sell it in the store. That was her solution.
I hate that.
And she reached out to my first boss at the time and said that I was aggressive with her. I'm like, that call was recorded. You can go back and listen to it. I was not aggressive.
This is where, like, higher, like, directives and, like, senior level management in any kind of corporate field just refuse to... You're not able to push back at all anymore.
No.
Like, back in the day, like, I know, like, back when, like, my parents were working and stuff, it was, like, seen to be, like, revolutionary if, like, you were like, a lower level position and you were able to, like, offer, like, these alternatives to upper management that, like, they didn't think of.
Right.
It was like, oh my, yeah, it was celebrated. It was like, oh my gosh, like, this is wonderful. Like, we're going to save costs. Like, we're getting new perspectives. And my entire experience working in corporate America has been, don't push back at all.
Yep.
Say yes, keep your head down, because anytime you question, you're met with no, and here's the boot. Yep. Every single person I know who said, hey, let me introduce some of my ideas so that we can streamline processes, so that we can make things better. Like, these are just my ideas.
Right. Anytime there was an issue with the pharmacy...
It was like, oh, no, now you're an issue employee, and we're going to try to get rid of you every chance we have.
Yep. Anytime my last manager would be like, oh, pharmacy operations are, handling this. I'm like, oh, I know how that can be fixed. And she's like, you don't work for them, so don't go and talk to them, provide them with any insight. And I was like, yeah, but there's a solution to that, and if they're not finding that solution, I can help them. Like, I have 10 years experience in that box, in that pharmacy. Like, she's like, no, these are pharmacists that went to pharmacy school that are coming up with this. I'm like, and I looked up all these people to see none of them worked in the store for more than a year.
Yeah. 20
years ago. I said they are so out of touch with what's actually going on in their own pharmacies. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't understand how, just because they're a pharmacist, okay, great. They memorized a bunch of medical and drug interactions. I said, but they're not trained on how to fix, like, retail processes within a store.
No.
I'm like, that just doesn't make sense.
And that's where, like, going back to the whole networking thing, it's like, how are we supposed to... There's such conflicting information, because it's like, on the one hand, you have people who are like, claim to be experts on, like, finding jobs and stuff. They're like, network. That's how you get ahead. That's how you get up. But then what do you do when you're at a job and every manager that you have swindles your opportunity to network? Where it's like, Don't talk to the third parties.
Right.
Don't talk to vendors. Like, that's not part of your job description. You can only communicate with these 3 people, and if you need to talk to anybody else, you have to go to upper management, and then they will do it, and therefore you have no other insight into anyone else.
When I finally met these people, from pharmacy operations in person. I was like, hi, I work on this team. This is my boss. You know who she is. I'm like, I have X amount of 10 years experience in the pharmacy. I heard you guys were having an issue. Can I help? I have a solution. Did you guys think about it this way? And they're like, oh my God, no, where have you been?
Yeah.
And then guess what? I got in trouble.
Yes.
By my manager, why were you talking to them?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell you can talk to them. They are very busy. Don't waste their time. They don't want to hear solutions from you. Like, you don't have the proper education. I'm like, excuse me? And then she's like, I told them not to speak to you.
And then you'll hear, and like, this is such a universal experience of this happening to people. And then what happens? You're the one that gets cut at the end of the day. Not the manager who's causing way more problems. Like, when I think about it, it's like there's such a disconnect because you have like these managers and CEOs who I see online who are always like in these like TED Talks and seminars on like, how do we motivate our people? Like, how do we motivate our employees to like want more from the job? Like, how do we motivate them? And it's like, well, you get the people in. A lot of the time, the people coming out of the workforce are the ones that are the most motivated. Like, they want to succeed. They're young people who, like, just want to kickstart a career. You get them into the workforce, and they're immediately met with management that wants nothing else other than, literally, this is your job description. You're basically just, like, a task rabbit.
Right.
Like, you're literally just... Here's what you do every single day, and you cannot fray outside of that.
Yep.
And if you do, then you're reprimanded. And you're shown that time and time and time again. And so it's like, by the time that they've been in that workforce, that company for even like a year or two, well, now all of their motivation and creativity is crushed. Because there is no sight of other opportunities, other people to connect with. You know, it's like, okay, I guess it is true. I guess I literally come to this job 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, and I work, and I answer emails, and I take phone calls, and I sit in meetings, and I keep my head down, I do my work, and then I go home, and I do that every single day, and I don't really get anything else out of it to show.
Mm-hmm. There was a time where I actually where the pharmacy operations team came to me and they're like, hey, we're having this issue, and I helped them on it. And then like in a big like town hall meeting for our department, they're like, oh, pharmacy operations, we want to thank Dominic from the store design team for helping us out with this because he has like 10 years of insight. My boss, we were in person for this meeting, her face turned beet red.
As it should. And
she was so pissed at me. She was like, how dare you go behind my back? I'm like, I didn't go behind your back. They came to me. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. I said, they came to me. And she's like, you're never to talk to them again. And like, again, swindled my opportunity to grow. Like, hey, maybe I can go work on the pharmacy side of things and leave you people behind. And like, just constantly was just mad. Anytime I succeeded, was always upset.
Yes.
And I'm like, why are you upset? You want your team to be successful. Why are you upset?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, going back to LinkedIn, there was this creative director that I saw. I don't know if it was for Disney or for Taco Bell, but they were like talking about their like, oh, my career. And I'm noticing it in this age group. Very, very late 30s, like geriatric elder millennial. Okay. And like very young Gen Y. Okay. Like the generation before millennials. Like,
you mean Gen X?
Oh, yeah. Well, Gen Y is like their unofficial name because Gen X is like 30 years like of a generation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So like the ones born in like the 80s up until like the 90s, they're like referred to as like Gen Y.
Oh, so it's like a small like
it's a smaller sub generation.
Yeah. Okay.
They're the ones who are like gatekeeping. Mm-hmm. Like, so this guy looked and I'm like, how old is this guy? He looks kind of young. Mm-hmm. So let me see what his job history is. He went to school, had a bachelor's in photography, did a bunch of freelance photography, like weddings and like small photo shoots, and then was like creative director of some like tiny smart startup that didn't last more than like 2 years, and then was like went from there creative director of digital marketing for some other company, and then like somehow just knowing the right people is now like chief executive creative director of Taco Bell. I'm like, you have a degree in photography. And just because you had a vision and knew the right people, you were able to work your way up to be a creative director, art director. Good on you. That's not my complaint. But like, they went to school in the very early 2000s. They graduated like from college in 2004. Where like at that time you had to network, and this is before LinkedIn, and like you were talking to people to like, hey, I can do this. This is what my experience. And I feel like back then it was easy to say like, hey, I have a vision. This is my experience. Like, let's work together. Let's collaborate.
Yeah.
And then from there, people were able to build a portfolio of work that was legitimate. And now
I think more companies wanted to promote internally.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like now it's like, all right, you can't put any of this in your portfolio. If you do, we'll sue you. Like, this is our intellectual property. And when I'm applying for jobs, I'm like, art director, like, well, did you like lead anything? I'm like, well, no, not really. I said I did internally at my previous job, but I can't put that for legal reasons in my portfolio.
Yeah.
I can tell you which projects I worked on.
Yeah.
And if you want to go online and look it up, go be my guest. I can tell you what I did, but I legally cannot put it in my portfolio.
Yeah.
I have 3 years worth of work I did at my last job that I can't legally use.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of these jobs, like, oh, you want to be a creative director? You want to be an art director? Well, where's your portfolio? Where's your 8 years of experience? I'm like, these are entry-level jobs. And it's like, I have student work. And my brother-in-law's like, well, can't you use your student work? I'm like, I can show them my student work. Whether that counts for anything, probably not.
Yeah, no.
It's just like, I find it very, like, I feel like my people my age and your age kind of miss that, like, golden era of, like, just being able to talk to people and being like, yeah, I have ideas for this. Let me just, like, do a quick sketch for you. And, like, and if they liked you, they hired you.
Yeah.
That's how Walt Disney did it.
Yeah.
That's how Steve Jobs did it. Like, even if they didn't have a computer background. The guy who designed a lot of their computers, like, barely had an engineering degree. He just was, like, doing some sketches, and Steve was like, oh, yeah, I like those doodles. Let's make a computer out of it.
Yeah. I know so many of my friends right now who are just in positions, like, even my friends who are teachers, where it's like they have these ideas on like how to improve things, but like administration, again, senior management, it's shut down. It's like, nope, we don't, they don't want to take that quote unquote risk. If it's not their idea, they don't want to execute it. And that's such a huge problem. And like, that's where I'm just like, yeah, you're right, people don't have the same connections. People aren't networking, but it's not because they don't want to. It's because, like, they don't have the tools to do it anymore.
Right.
Like,
And nobody's like, you tell people, like, oh, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. They're like, yeah, right. Like, where have you worked?
Yeah. And, like, in this, like, past interview that I had, they asked me, like, what software systems have you used previously? I'm like, well, that's kind of a fully loaded question. Like, I've used this, the one that I'm most familiar with is Encompass, which is like the standard software platform you use for any kind of loan origination processing. Like, that is what is used for the mortgage industry. And it handles a lot. Like, you can do it is like ginormous, the amount of information it holds, what you can do with it. And then other than that, I'm like, every other employer I've worked at, because I've worked in banking and finance, there's a lot of security that needs to be in place for any kind of software we use that holds private information for clients. So we use an internal, like, developed internally software platform that's basically like almost like their own Google.
Right. Where
you can search anything you want related to any aspect of the mortgage. It's like a company encyclopedia for every single thing that, like, you would need to look up regulatory information on. And I'm like, but that's internal. It doesn't have a name.
Right.
There's no name for it. Like, that's just how the industry is. Like, and then I'm like, aside from that, like, yeah, Excel, Microsoft Office, like, 365, like, Outlook, you know, I'm like, yes. But, like, what else do you want me to say? Like, I don't need a lot to do this job.
Well, this job, I don't know if we talked about it at the top of the podcast, but, like, I had, like, a staffing recruitment agency reach out to me about this job for this very, very large fast food company. And she was like, what? She's like, do you have any experience in this one construction architectural software? And I go, I do. I said, the only thing I know how to do is how to mark up things, take measurements, draw lines. Like, it's very construction based. And she's like, all right, that's all you need to know. And I'm learning because my mom's the landlord of her office building is an architect. So he has the other side of the building. And that's when I found out that you can work as an apprentice under a licensed interior designer or under a licensed architect in the state of Illinois for however many hours. And as long as you pass the test and you have, like, that architect or interior designer can sign off saying you completed this amount of hours working under me as an apprentice, you can get licensed as an architect or an interior designer.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So, like, yes, if you go to traditional 4-year university for that, you get all those hours just by going to class. But, like, that's one of those jobs you technically don't need a degree in.
I think that's also part of it is so many people I know get into a job, like, I kind of feel this way, where it's like, okay, I want to be able to build my career upward, but I don't have certain licensing and certificates because the other jobs I had, it wasn't required, and my employer wasn't going to sponsor me for it. And now I'm stuck in a position where I'm like, well, what do? I can't, most of these that I would need, like, I would have to have a sponsor for, which would come from having an employer. Well, I want this job, but, like, they want me to have this licensing and certificate. You know, that's a requirement for them. I don't have it because my former employer didn't think that was necessary. Right. So I know a lot of other people who are stuck in that situation where it's like, well, what do I do if I'm trying to find another job and, like, the requirements for this position maybe are changing and now I'm unemployed and I wasn't given, you know, the opportunity to get these sort of credentials, even though I've had this experience. Because at the time that I got it wasn't needed. And now we're kind of moving into an area where, like, now they want licensing and they want certification. What do you do? And, like, I also know a handful of people that I've worked with who have kind of been forced out of the industry together because the jobs just aren't there. They aren't creating new jobs. Like, a lot of mortgage companies have laid off a ton of underwriters and moved to, like, getting offshore teams. I've worked for both companies that I now work with, like, did that, where what that basically means is they've laid off all the people that were working those jobs in the United States, and they sought out, like, a company in usually, like, India or Bangladesh, like, you know, where they can pay a lot less for workers, but you're not getting quality out of it. Right. Like, and I don't mean that to be mean, but it's true. Like, those people are hired usually by a staffing agency, and they follow a checklist, and you can't call them, and they barely answer email, and they don't email. You're lucky if you could get, like, a Teams message out of them, but, like, you can't really communicate with them.
Yeah, we had that too. A lot of our construction documents were done by a third party, and they were in India.
Yeah.
And we had one rep who worked in our office for that entire team. And I'm like, if I ever had an issue, I'm like, hey, like, I need you to reach out to the team. This is what's going on with this batch of, like, construction documents. Like, it needs to be done again. And, like, he was our only point of contact. And, like, we couldn't talk to these people who were offshore. No. We had one person on our floor, and that was it.
Yes.
And, like, yes, it was a great help because a lot of the edits that we made or needed to be made could be done overnight. So when we got back to our desk the next morning, but a lot of times they needed revisions. And I'm like, what's going on?
Yes.
And I'm learning I think that's another thing that kind of bothered my boss was how quickly I was picking up all the construction details and the construction software. And if I really wanted to, I could have asked any of the architects or other interior designers, like, hey, can I shadow you? Would you sign off that I, like, know how to do this? And, like, I know I don't want to be an architect. Like, that's not, like, I don't want to be designing buildings. That's, like, not my goal.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to be, like, in those positions where, like, if I'm talking to an architect or talking to an interior designer at a corporate setting, I can communicate with them clearly and, like, know, like, what they're talking about and what I'm talking about. Like, that's the only time I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And, like, that's, like, my benefit. Like, so I even thought about, like, my mom's landlord. He's an architect. Like, all my time off, like, I could go in and be his apprentice. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, at the timing, he's like, I already have one, and, like, I can only take out one at a time, and, like, you know, whatever. So I was like, I didn't do it. But, like, if these two, like, leads that I have don't fall through, I might ask him, be like, hey, during the fall, like, your slow season, like, can I come in and just, like, watch you work? Like, you don't have to pay me.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about that too. But LinkedIn influencers,
I hate them.
some of them make up to, like, $400,000 a year.
You make money from being a LinkedIn influencer?
You can make money off of being a LinkedIn, like, just, you have to post, well, most of it's from sponsors. But LinkedIn does pay you, like, a base of, like, 50 to 60,000 just for posting things. Like, did you, like, what is your, like, you know, like, polls, getting engagement, like, what are your thoughts and feelings on introducing AI to this process, blah, 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 and to get the conversation going. And then from there, they get other companies, like, computer processing, like, my laptop from so-and-so is able to allow me to do blah, 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 or, you know, are your hands cold? Check out this, like, heated mouse pad, like, stuff like that.
Okay.
And I was reading about this woman who, like, she's like, yeah, I take sponsorships from, like, AI companies, from software companies, from, like, people who, like, make lunch bags. Like, I go to the office every day with this lunch bag because it has a built-in compartment for blah, 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 blah. And, like, she'll post about it and, like, make it seem like quote-unquote natural as possible, organic as possible, that she's going into the office. Like, you don't work in an office. You work from home, making posts for LinkedIn to get people's engagement. Yeah. To get people on the platform talking and to use the platform. And I watched her interview. I think it was on YouTube. I'll have to find it. And she's like, yeah, just from sponsorships and from LinkedIn. And she's like, I've made $500,000 in 1 year.
Oh my God, what am I doing? I think it's...
So, like...
Like, I hate that, but, like... I'm also just, like, God, I hear stuff like that, and then I'm like, the amount of money that you can make from, like, just being, like, an independent content creator is just insane, and it's really just, like, a lottery to be successful at it.
This particular woman, her job was just to... It was all LinkedIn. She didn't have to post on any other social media. No YouTube, no Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok. Strictly LinkedIn. She made $500K in a year just from making LinkedIn posts.
That's so crazy to me. Like, that kind of makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
Just the fact that, like, that money exists, but then you have people who work literally, like, make minimum wage and...
Shout out to the companies shout out to the YouTube channels and, like, drama people, like, on Reddit and Twitter, who, like, really do their digging. I don't know how they find this out, but, like, I read somewhere once that James Charles, like, I know he's taboo to talk about, but that they found, like, emails from him when he was trying to, like, work out a sponsorship, like an agreement to make a sponsored post. Yeah. And his fee, like, at minimum was $100,000.
Yeah, I believe that.
For a sponsored post. I'm like, what? I said, for him to just be like, hi, sisters, this is my new, like... Yeah. Like,
no, I'm telling you, like, it's crazy the amount that people charge, like, per...
Someone said, I read somewhere, someone was like, oh yeah, a sponsored post starts at $60,000 just for, like, an Instagram post. Like, not a video, no audio, just, like, maybe a carousel of, like, 5 pictures of them, like, posing with the product and, like, pretending to use it, like, $60,000. And I'm like, that's what somebody makes in a year. And you're getting that to post one picture.
It kind of, I think, just really puts it in perspective, like, how disproportionate wages are. It's like, if a company has so much money that they can pay someone's yearly salary for an influencer to promote their product, there's no reason why the people that are really holding their company together, really doing the work, are making one ad post in an entire year.
Right. The one cosmetic retailer who I've had multiple interactions with in the last year, like, I've seen what they do for their influencers. The amount of things they give them. I'm like, you couldn't...
Also, how much money they're bringing in.
I'm like, you couldn't pay me what I was making in my last position. I was asking for too much. You want to give me a third of that. Less than a third. But this influencer does one post for you, and that's triple of what you would have given me in a year?
Yes.
And it's like, how, like, I don't even know who half these people are, and you're sponsoring them. Like, not everybody...
Yeah, because, like, some of them, too, are, like, micro-influencers.
Yeah.
And it's like, that company, I've applied to a few jobs at, and a lot of the pay is, like, hourly, even though you're working, like, a corporate position. Yeah. And it's, like, $25, $27 an hour. And I'm like... You want me to work in office year-round, drive out to...
Bolingbrook.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of businesses.
There's a lot of businesses in Bolingbrook.
Yeah, but
you want me to drive out to Bolingbrook for $25, $27 an hour?
Yeah.
And then, like, that's the other thing, too. Like, I've applied to a handful of jobs for this company as well. And I'm like, you know, I studied fashion. I have finance experience, business experience. Like, I can do a lot of things. You throw me in any kind of environment, and, like, I'll figure it out.
Same.
And I get rejected from every single job that I've applied to with them. And I'm like...
I was told that...
Including entry level, by the way.
Yeah, I was told that recruiters really look for 5 years of experience. And I'm like, where are these where are the people who are applying for entry-level jobs getting this 5 years of experience in this field?
Yeah.
Like, where are they getting it from? I want to know. Tell me.
Yes, I would love to know, where is somebody getting 5 years of, like, cosmetic, you know...
Where is somebody getting 5 years of advertising experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're not working at an ad agency.
See.
Right.
Yeah.
Where is somebody getting 5 years of interior design experience if they're not... I mean, if they're freelancing, sure, but, like, if they're not doing corporate... Like,
I don't understand
it either. Yeah. Freelancing for residential, corporate interior designers will laugh at that. They're like, you're just you're a glorified decorator.
Yeah.
Like, they won't even look at that.
Yeah.
So, like, where do corporations expect? That could be our question. For our audience today.
Okay, we'll ask the audience.
Let's ask the audience. If you're a recruiter, or if you're like a talent manager, or even if not, like, or you got an entry-level job with your 5 years of experience, where did you get that experience? How did you get that experience if you weren't working in a corporate setting?
I would love to know. If you were also able to, like, break out into a completely new field fully on your own, please let us know how you were able to accomplish that.
Yeah.
So I would really like to know that as well. Like, if you truly didn't have any contacts or connections, but you knew there was a field you wanted to break out into, how did you achieve that?
Right.
What steps did you take? And then...
Also, tell us about your application experiences, like applying, interviewing. What are some questions you were asked that were just like oddball questions?
Also, Dominic and I are, we're looking for work. We're open to work.
Yeah,
#
we are.
LinkedIn, open to work.
Yeah, open to work. Yeah, we are very open to work. And I think to wrap up the pod today, like Dana always says, we have a question.
I have one for you.
Okay.
Okay. I thought this would be fun because I don't think I've ever really asked you this.
Okay.
But, okay. If you could have any job, not dependent on pay, like truly just any job, let's say, like, regardless of what you're doing, it pays like $200,000 a year.
Okay.
Or more.
Okay.
What would it be and why?
Definitely. Okay, this is easy.
Okay.
Something that had to do with customer experience or guest experience.
Okay.
In Disney parks.
Oh, okay.
I want to be like the one that like studies how, or be a part of a team that studies how guests interact with certain elements of the park. I want to get their feedback, what they liked about their experience, what they didn't, what can improve the experience.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be on a team like that because, as many of you know, I'm a Disney adult. And there's a lot of experience that their cast members, their employees, are trained to do and how to handle. And I really would like to be able to be on like that creative team to be like, how can we make certain experiences within the Disney bubble at all international parks too? Like, how can we make it better?
Yeah.
What are guests liking? What are they not liking? What ideas do guests have? What do guests want to see? And then be able to translate that to the proper teams.
I like that. I think they need more attractions. They don't all have to be rides, but more attractions to cut down on line times.
Oh, absolutely. I agree too. Like right now I know Magic Kingdom's getting, or Hollywood Studios in Florida, they got rid of like the Muppet area. Very controversial hot button topic right now in the Disney community. And they're putting in a Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. came out in 2003, 23 years ago.
Oh my God.
And this is the first time we're getting something in the park to represent Monsters, Inc.
Do you feel like it's too late?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I kind of want like a Toy Story something.
Well, they do. Hollywood has Toy Story Land.
Yeah,
it's
but,
basically Andy's backyard. Oh, which, real quick, I was at Kohl's the other day, and they had a Woody and Buzz plush, and it was like a blanket set. And you know how, like, on Woody's boot, it says Andy? This Woody had Bonnie, which is his current new owner, written on the boot, and I almost lost my shit.
Really?
Okay, all right. Another topic, too, like, if you love Toy Story, are you Team Bonnie or are you Team Andy?
You gotta be Team Andy.
I'm Team Andy. Like, honestly, like, F Bonnie. She's, like, a horrible toy owner.
I haven't seen the new one yet still, but...
Okay, Toy Story 5 is great.
But, like, Andy... Like, that's just the OG.
Andy knew how to play with his toys.
Yeah.
Bonnie is a brat, and her parents coddle her way too much.
Is she an iPad kid?
In this latest movie, yes.
No! Yeah.
And
okay, that's all I need to know. See, Andy he didn't even have the iPad.
He had a laptop in Toy Story 3, but, like, he was already in high school.
Yeah.
But, like, I wish we got more Andy. Andy had an imagination. He was grateful. Like, his mom was a single mom who worked too hard, loved her kids, and never stopped.
R.I.P. Dolly Parton.
I know.
And Tim Curry. Did you know that?
Tim Curry passed away?
I'm sorry to break the news to you.
Well, because you know what they say.
You were driving here, and I think that's when it was announced.
Oh, well, you know what they say. They die in threes.
Yes. Somebody else is coming.
No, it was ready. It was Hayden Panettiere.
Oh my God, yes!
Dolly, and now Tim Curry.
Yeah, Tim Curry. So I already told my family I will be watching Rocky Horror tonight in his honor.
I have a confession. I've never seen Rocky Horror.
Dominic!
I don't know, because a lot of people say their parents showed it to them. My mom's not a huge fan. She's like, yeah, I've seen it. She said, but she wasn't like a huge... Like, my mom doesn't even care for Grease.
Yeah.
I love Grease. But
I saw it from my friends in like middle school showed it to me, and I think we were like too young to understand some of the themes.
Yeah.
But we just thought it was like, it was like really dramatic. It was like also around the time when like Lady Gaga was like coming onto the scene. Like it was around that era where everything felt like very over the top drag, like and theatrical.
Yes. Okay.
And so like I fell in love with it because I was just like, and I love a musical, like I really do. Yeah. And I was just like, this is fabulous. And then like as I've gotten older, like I've rewatched it, and like every time I rewatch it, I pick up on something new. Okay. Where I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize
I know the gist of it. Like I've gotten I've gotten the gist of it. Do you want to feel old?
Yeah.
Real quick?
I do.
Next summer will be 20 years since Hairspray came out, the musical movie in theaters.
Oh my God.
I love that. I love the original Hairspray from the 80s, like the non-musical, John Waters. It's a masterpiece. It's so campy. I love it. But I also love the musical version of it. And 20 years ago.
Wow.
Next summer.
Okay, so I also love Hairspray. Hairspray is my grandma's favorite movie and musical. I think it's her favorite musical. I don't think it's her favorite movie. I think her favorite movie is Titanic, actually. But I love that. I love it. I love the music. I love Hairspray, the play.
Also, that was peak Zac Efron. I'm sorry.
Yes, it was.
Controversial, brave. Peak Zac Efron.
It was. Also, though, I was going to say, if you love the original Hairspray, you should watch a movie called Pink Flamingo.
I've heard of this movie. I have not seen it yet.
It's by the drag queen that plays the mom.
Divine. Yes.
It's a Divine movie because my uncle is a huge Divine fan.
I love Divine.
So yeah, he's put me on to like a lot of stuff. Pink Flamingo is like,
well, that's how
it's like a fever dream, like campy drag movie, and like he told me to like get high. Like he was like, consume some some devil's lettuce before, and he's like, you'll really enjoy it. Like he's like, he was like, I like to take a gummy and watch it.
I feel like this is common knowledge, but Divine was the inspiration for Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Ursula is basically Divine.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Like a true like OG like phenomenal drag queen.
Oh yeah, I mean she did some crazy other stuff in another movie where it's like she ate chicken shit like yeah it was. She's done some.
But yeah, look up Pink Flamingo.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the name of the movie.
Yeah, I want to watch. I haven't seen a lot of these campy like 90s, 80s classics called. There's one like Best in Show. There's Showgirls. Mm-hmm. But I'm a cheerleader. There's the one like witchy movie. I think I've seen Practical Magic. That's Nicole Kidman. That's getting a part 2. What is that other one called? The Coven. It's like a lot of like teen witches. Yeah, there's like.
I thought you were gonna say Hocus Pocus. I'm like Hocus Pocus is kind of like campy, like kind of draggy.
It flopped so hard when it came out in the theaters because it came out in July. It didn't come out.
That's so weird.
Yeah. There's a lot of like Showgirls, Best in Show. There's one with Jennifer Coolidge where she's like a dog trainer that I want. I gotta look it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Pink Flamingos, 1972.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Divine. Oh yeah, that's the movie where she eats chicken shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I know this one is like insane.
My former optometrist, my former eye doctor, looked like John Waters. Like he had like little pencil stabs.
Really?
He wore like funky tie and shirt combos and like wore funky socks. I honestly think, and I know we're running long here, but like my former eye doctor and his now ex-wife, I think they were a lavender marriage. Where they both were.
Can we talk about your thoughts on that with Ina?
See, people have told me that's a lavender marriage, and I don't know. It's hard.
I don't think... okay, here's my take. I don't think it's like a lavender marriage, but I think that they are just like really good friends who, you know, marriage for convenience.
I think so too.
But I think they have like, I think they allow each other to just like do what they want.
You think they're a little bit open?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I read her memoir. They almost got divorced. They took a break for like 2 years.
Yeah, I think they're open. Yeah, they're definitely open.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, but like my optometrist, like because his wife was like the secretary, and like she picked out all the frames that were like on display in their practice. I think she was a big old honking lens, and I loved her for it.
Yeah,
and I think he was gay, and I think they were each other's beards. Like she wore Sue separates. She had like the pinstripes and like the color blocking. She had like different giant glasses every time I saw her. She wore creepers to the office. Like, they were very Pee Wee Herman, John Waters, like, alternative.
Okay, I see.
And I think their divorce was really... They say that he stepped down on her, or she stepped down... One of them stepped down on each other. Like, that was their excuse for getting divorced. But I think that their whole thing was like, all right, we've done this charade for, like, 40 years. Like, let's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm like, I kind of feel like I almost fit into that category, but like, I'm straight. Sometimes I feel like God made me like, he forgot to just like add the like dash of like being gay. Cause like, I love like the gay community. I love all things drag. Like, I love, like, I've always been like kind of a tomboy. And then, like, it just didn't, the rest of it just didn't come. Like,
I think it took us, well, you like me.
I love a little Twinkie boy, though. Like, I love a little, like, Troye Sivan.
Well, I like Troye Sivan, but twinks are evil. I
love a little Timothy Chalamet.
I will die on this hill. Twinks are evil. Twinks are evil. I mean, but, like, I think because you and I are both really creative people, so, like, you know, drag is super creative. I love anything campy. I love anything kitschy, like, anything, like...
Really over the top.
Yeah, anything, like, chintz, too, like...
Yeah.
Like the 90s, like, Apple-themed kitchen or, like, Goose-themed kitchen. Like, I love that. Like,
Same.
give me that. I don't want to see your bland
Kim
Kardashian museum kitchen.
Yeah,
no, thank you.
No.
So, all right, guys.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for listening. And hopefully this extra long episode and satiates your craving for us.
Yes. I don't think we'll be taking any breaks soon.
Yeah, for the future. But unless we both get employed and...
I think we'll still do this.
I think, we'll find a way to make it work. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Because it's a lot of fun.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, I can't wait
share with your friends.
Yeah, where are you getting that? Where are you getting that experience from? Spill the tea.
Yeah, spill the tea.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.